Hey, welcome, all my right thinkers. Thanks for tuning in to check out your boy, Big Funk, out here in the lab in the wee hours of the morning doing what I do for you. Today, I got a good lesson for you. I'm excited about bringing it to you, so I hope you enjoy it. Let's go. Right is the 25 rules to live by. Storytelling. Story with a message. Message and story for life. These are life lessons I'm giving them. You tune in and receive them. I hope they're working for you. We got a good thing going. Let's ride. Right thing is mission, and that's what I'm on. It's to enlighten, inspire, educate, and motivate you, the individual, to a higher spiritual level of enlightenment. Listen to that word, higher. Right thinking, tidbit. Way of life through mental and spiritual discipline daily will help and guide you to obtain your goal of reaching spiritual enlightenment, aka know thyself. My mission is to have my right thinkers do just that. Through the teachings that I'm giving them and the practice that they put forth, effort that they put in, they'll do just that. But the answer to this question, they all should have for themselves. The question is, know thyself. Do you know you? Let's find out. A person who knows not and knows not that they know not is foolish. Disregard them. A person who knows not and knows that they know not is simple. I can teach them. That's why I do what I do for you. Stay tuned. I got you. A person who knows not and believes that they know is dangerous. Avoid them. I do. A person who knows but knows not that they know is asleep. I can awaken them. I'm the spiritual alarm clock. I'm here to wake you up with knowledge of self. A person who knows and knows that they know is wise. Follow them. All these persons, they reside in you. Right? Think of know thyself. Until my be true. Today, you heard about the Akashic records. We talk about the Akashic records. Unlimited information. Tap into Akashic records. You can find out anything you want. Yeah, that's a true fact. Let's talk about that. But put my little spin on it, as usual. Right, thinkers? Let's talk about the Akashic records is our higher consciousness. hmm hmm Once you tap into your higher level of understanding and knowledge of self, that's the Akashic records that they talk about, but it's brought to you when you reach that level spiritually along with knowledge. Let's talk about it. The subconscious, excuse me, when you master your right thinking, meditation technique, whichever one you choose to pick, you got 5 of them. When you master that, you will have learned how to tap into your higher consciousness, aka communing with your higher self. Your higher self, higher conscious, sound familiar? Subconscious is the lower self, okay? Ego self. So that you can function on and do pretty well at that level. But in order to get to that next level, you have to raise your consciousness, raise your knowledge of self, raise your understanding of who you are and what kind of person you are. Remember, we're spiritual beings having a human experience. As a human being, you want to tap into your spirituality. That means you need to know thyself, have a heart, mind, coherence, marriage, what do you want to do, union, but it's all about getting to know yourself consciously, aka higher consciousness. Subconscious runs the body. It functions and it keeps you level. But next level is higher consciousness. That's what we're going to talk about. Watch this. Now understand, our bodies carry DNA information also, but your higher consciousness is your aka Akashic records. We only use 10% of our subconscious, which is conscious, low and high. So if we raise our conscious level at 20% use of our consciousness, that's genius level. The ancients, we still can't estimate what level they was at. But I would think that if we just doing what we doing, think we so smart, and we ain't touch scratch the surface with 10%, they had at least 50%. Telekinesis, telepathically communicating, and so they had a whole different concept of thinking. information that our subconscious gathers in and uses is pretty much unlimited, but you have to download it, master it, conceive it, comprehend it, and then use it to manifest to prove what it say really works. That's the intricate part about any religious concept. You can know it, you can study it, but if you're not living it, you never know if it really works. That's why I think philosophy is all about the manifestation of your learnings, of the teachings. You have to live them to know them. You have to know how to raise your consciousness to be able to think and be able to comprehend in order to reach the next level, to tap into the Akashic records. It ain't gonna come down to you. Raise your consciousness. Put some work in. Do your due diligence. If you want muscles, you go to the gym. You want longevity, you get on the bike and you run and pedal. But you do things for that to happen. It's the same thing with spiritual enlightenment. You got to put some work in, study time, and then some manifestation time. Meditate, prayer, and work. Trust me. Next one is the Akashic Records is basically unlimited information that you have access to. And they just were so smart that they put every aspect in a character that you can study philosophically, learn, and then you mimic it. You imitate the aspect by your character getting better at that aspect. Intuitive knowledge is what the Akashic records have to get tapped into. That's Aset, that's Isis, the most well-known goddess of all. It means you have her, you have wisdom, you have intuitive knowledge that you have built into yourself. The Akashic realm, higher conscious, is a higher state of consciousness. Again, you're using your intuitive knowledge. Again, what you have in you, you have to bring it out. You can't go outside and bring it in. It's already in there. You just have to raise your consciousness. That means do some work to make the brain, put the brain to work. Use your brain for something other than a hat rack. To know what you don't know, watch this, it's intuitive knowledge. But yet, you know what you know. That's because you have tapped into your higher consciousness. Every now and then we do it by accident. So that's what, how did I know that? Wow. Once you get better, once you understand it, now you can exercise your right to reach up in there and tap into whatever you like. Right thinking philosophy will have you reaching your higher levels of consciousness with what? Knowledge of self. That's the end all be all. Trust me. You can tap into your Akashic, aka higher realm, with what? Daily practice of right thinking philosophy, meditation, prayer, workout. Those things you do. Listen, reflect, meditate. Whatever you want, however you want to break it down, but you have to do those things in succession on a regular basis. Get a routine and formulate a concept that you can live with, and you'll see it work itself out. You'll get wiser by the days, even when you ain't studying. But I put information in it so that I can make sure I'm downloading information every day. That's just me, my way. All right, here you go. Watch this. Now, if it's something I don't know, but it's something I want to know about, the first thing I do is what? Think and then study it. Meditate on it, reflect on it, harness it, get the understanding, and then I can log it in as a lesson learned that now I can manifest it for myself or teach others how to do so. That's what learning is all about, to teach. I learn so I can teach. Next one, watch this. Now, your higher subconscious is unlimited information, aka the Akashic records or your higher consciousness. You got to understand one thing. If you look around, somebody was a conscious meaning being aware. Somebody was aware of everything that was going to take place or should happen way before we got here. Just keep that thought in mind. That's the higher power, okay? And we're part of him. Y'all call it God. Watch this. Now, with 90% of your higher consciousness, subconscious mind that we don't use unless what? You're a right thinker and you learn how to gain knowledge, spiritual truths, manifest them for yourself, live them, learn them, and you have access to your higher consciousness also. If you're ignorant of your higher self, the doors are closed to you. The password is knowledge. Okay? When you study to increase your knowledge of self, you're putting in your higher conscious, you're putting your higher conscious to work. You're making it work now. Why? Because you tapped into it. You want something that is there, so you got to go get it. Back when I took acid, I called it brain food. Why? Because it sped up my thought process. And because I'm cerebral and I'm a thinker, all it did is just sped up. And I like that. I like that. To think 2 or 3 times as fast as normal, man, I ate that up. So trust me, some people can handle it, some people can't. I'm one of those who can. Now, to speed up my thought process, again, I love that. Another story there. Moving on. Now, the idea of pushing or speeding up my thought process, I was enjoying what? The mental trip. Why? Because I'm a mental dude. I can conceptualize, I can compartmentalize, I can think, I can understand things that's presented to me at a high rate. So I can retain information. When I download it, I pretty much retain what I download. I don't have a photographic memory. I don't remember stuff word for word. I know, I ain't that sharp. I ain't trying to be. I know enough to present it. If you teaching me, when you teach me, I'm going to learn at least 90% of what you taught me, if not more. But that's what I do as a student. So as a teacher, I try to download and get 100% understanding before I even proceed to try to teach something that I think I know about. Here we go. Moving on. I'm at, excuse me, I'm what they use, I'm a what they used to call a space cadet. Yeah, I like exposing my knowledge or my brain capacity to drugs to enhance it. Mescaline, acid, you name it. Yeah, I experiment with it. But when they locked me up in that mental institution, they gave me some of their prescription drugs. Nope, I stick to the recreation. At this point in my life, I don't want none of that nonsense. But yeah, they got some stuff that will rip you a new one. Trust me on that one. It ain't for recreational. All right. Now I was called a space cadet. Why? Because I would trip at any time with anyone that didn't make a difference. If you got acid, my bag stay packed. Why? I'm gonna drop it and I'm ready for the trip. Why? I'm good. Okay. Next one. Watch this. Now your subconscious, lower nature, and your higher conscious, aka Akashic records, are like the yin and the yang. They go together. The lower nature keeps the body. The subconscious runs the body. It does a great job. But unless you raise your consciousness, which is by choice, then you can ascend to the higher levels and get information that's there for you for that purpose and that reason. Okay? Where we at? Where we at? Okay, here's your subconscious and higher conscious. Okay, like yin and yang. Now, it's like the ego and Haru, Set and Haru. Neither one of them are going to kill each other. They just one of them want to be in control. And when you realize I can't beat you, I'm going to acquiesce and I will just have to work for you. You work him into submission position. Have him do his bidding, but have him do it as your call, not his. He's going to do that. All you got to do is control that. That's master yourself. When you can do that, now you got something going. Watch this. Higher consciousness is where your Akashic record realm is, and if you're not a deep thinker, you'll never get there. Okay? Next one. In order to tap into your Akashic records realm, you have to what? Gain spiritual truth and do what? Live them, learn them, and then live them to manifest the things you want. That's the access to higher consciousness. That's how it's done. Where we at? Okay, now I'm learning things from inside my own mind doing my meditative states now that is really blowing my mind. And it would if I didn't comprehend and understand it, I'd be freaking out. And when I first got enlightened, I was freaking out. That's it, but right now, yeah. But because I'm comfortable and I'm adjusted to the stuff that's going on now, it don't excite me what comes through the mind, what download and the concepts that I put together. Some I know that I come up with some stuff, but that's how my mind works. I let it do just that. Okay. But I keep feeding it information. If you're familiar with the movie Lawnmower Man, you'll understand. Oh yeah. Okay. Now I practice raising my higher consciousness with what? Studying and living what I learned. Again, this is what I do. I gather information so I can give it to you and you can use it and benefit from it. Moving on. Here we go. My subconscious is under my control. Why? It runs pretty much, it's on autopilot. You ain't got to do much for that. It keeps the heart beating. It takes care of the lungs. It runs the body functions. So it's on autopilot. But when you start to raise your consciousness to a higher level, now you can know that, whoa, you control a whole lot of other things that's inside here. Next one, and we wrapping up. I appreciate you. Hope the lesson's good. Hope you get this concept. Hope you get an understanding with your Akashic records. They're inside you. They're not out there. They're not somewhere out there like heaven. No, it's inside here, but it's just upstairs. I read books. Excuse me. All that information. Excuse me. All that obtainable information within the age of information. You should not be ignorant or blind to information. You can get it because it's prevalent. It's everywhere. Okay. All this book information about spiritual things, but I manifest through my what? Spiritual discipline and manifest the things that I learned to prove that they are true, to prove that they do work. You have to implement them in your daily life. You have to master them so that way you know you're right. Let's go. I read books. I did that, excuse me. Next one. Now, I get a lot of my spiritual knowledge from what? My meditation time and my reading time that I put in daily. When I put in my hour on the bike, 60 minutes, I'm getting 60 minutes of downloading, reading information daily. So I'm constantly building, I'm constantly tacking on, I'm constantly adding on. I'm in tune at the highest spiritual level. I have access to my Akashic record realm. Why? Because I raised my conscious level to the highest level. I reached that Neha state. I'm anointed. I'm enlightened. I'm an Akus, an enlightened being. All right, thinkers, that's your goal to get there. That's being blissed out. That's reaching Hotep, peace within oneself. Right thinking philosophy, watch this, will have you tapping into your Akashic records, aka higher consciousness realm, when you perfect the things that I teach and you use them for yourself, and that's how you get there. To be a master, right thinker, you will have made that Akashic record, high connection, higher consciousness connection, like I did. When you do that, you will have arrived. Welcome to the club. I appreciate all right thinkers. When you become a right thinker master, I will welcome you then too. But until then, keep putting your work in. I am